This is Straight Talk with Atlanta Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and his sidekick Shanan Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the Preacher Man.
Well, welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. I tell you, it is hot. Ooh, that is hot. I don't want to be on the beach. I don't want to be on the beach. It's too hot to be out there in that heat. And I got my co-host with me, Shanan. He's sitting in the air conditioning place, and I'm out here. Lord have mercy, it's just hot, hot. Woo! Jesus. I believe when they talk about, people, Al Gore was vice president, talked about climate change. And, buddy, we're seeing climate change. I guess people don't listen to the truth. They believe a lie versus the truth. And now he said that years ago that the sun was moving close to the earth. People didn't want to accept it, that glaciers were melting and these kind of things. We have 100 degrees now, 100 degrees even in Detroit. I mean, it's hot everywhere. So, we're living in that time where we got to be accepting of the truth and believe what we see and not believe what people are saying, because what they're seeing, what you see is really what it is, right? And that's the same thing with politicians. That, we can't believe what they're saying. We got to believe what we see that they're actually doing. And that's what Shanan and I are going to be talking about a little bit today, because we know we've been on the January 6th committee thing we said we're going to stick with it until the final decision is made, and we're going to stick with it. So, Shanan, I'm glad to have you today, sitting over there in the cooler of...
Glad to be here, Bishop.
In the cooler wherever you are. I believe you're at home, right?
It's very cool where I am.
Oh, you're in one of them undisclosed places.
In the air conditioning.
But tell us after a while where you are. That's for sure. He'll start rattling the curtains and what have you. But anyway, we're gonna listen to this.
Mateo is in an undisclosed location today too.
He is.
He will not be rattling the curtains.
Mateo, that's his baby. That's his big baby. And I was listening to Mateo. Looked like Mateo was talking to you earlier. Looked like he was actually having a real conversation with you.
Sometimes it just does seem like he's got something to say, but he's got a million ways to communicate it. I tell you that.
Well, people love their animals. They love their animals, and I know you love Mateo. He's like your big baby.
I'm a dog person for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go nowhere. We're gonna listen to Miss C and her news and information. And if you have news and information you'd like to share, Miss C, all you gotta do, or you want to be on the program, all you gotta do is just say Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. Just email us. We'd love to have you on the program. And we're going to be talking about some very, very exciting things in terms of elderly abuse. We were with the DA, Fanny Willis, and her staff, along with the New North Georgia attorney, who is representing the United States, Ms. Biden appointee to North Georgia, to prosecute cases. And they're dealing with stuff called like elderly abuse. Yesterday was Elderly Abuse Day. But we'll talk more about that on the other side. We'll be back. Don't go nowhere.
Hi, Miss C here with your 3-minute or more news blast. Oh, hey Greg, hey Shanan, and I hope everyone and you all are doing well out there, okay? Listen, East Point small and micro business owners, there's going to be an event just for you. It's called Show Me the Money. And you can lunch and learn, bring your laptop, and there's going to be a complimentary lunch provided. It's going to be June 20th, 11:30 to 1 at the First Baptist Church, 2813 East Point Street in East Point. Seating is limited. RSVP is mandatory. Call 404-220-4159. That's 404-220-4159. Lance Robertson, Ward A council member, and Joshua Butler IV, Ward D at-large council member, will be hosts. Listen, from Straight Talk News, we want to remind you to vote on June 21st in the runoffs. It's important that you vote. You should exercise your right to vote. Okay? All right. Now let's see what else I got here. Okay. Don't forget the Juneteenth celebration of freedom. It's Saturday, June 18th from 12 noon to 8 p.m., beginning with a parade at 10 a.m. from the East Point Commons, 2757 East Point Street in East Point. There's going to be food, yay, a live DJ, free concert, talent show, water slides for the kids, and more. Call 404-524-0580 if you have questions. And I also want to say a happy Father's Day to all our fathers out there. You know, you play a vital role in our lives, and I think that you are due this recognition of Father's Day. Okay, one other thing, Flipper Temple AME will celebrate its 2022 graduates June 19th, Sunday, from beginning with at the 10 a.m. worship service. Flipper is located at 580 Atlanta Student Movement Boulevard in Atlanta. Reverend Gregory Eason is pastor. If you need more information, call 404-522-5020. And listen, I want you to do 4 things for me. 4. Okay? First, I want you to subscribe to us. I want you to like us. I want you to leave us comments. And then I want you to share it. Okay. I'm sorry. I had a senior moment. I want you to subscribe, to like us, leave your comments, and share us. Okay. And if you do that for us, we would certainly appreciate it. Will we, Greg and Shanan? See? Okay, listen, we're going to, if you have anything that you would like for us to announce here, your class reunion, maybe you're having a reunion, family reunion, or something at church, we'll be happy to announce it. If you send it to me at straighttalknews1362@gmail.com, we would appreciate it. That's Straight Talk News, and spell all that out, straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. And we're going to see you right back here next time, okay? Bye.
All right, we're back. We are back, and of course, Miss C is always on point. And welcome back, Miss C. She had a little R&R, which, you know, we all need a little R&R, Shannon. We all need a little R&R, and I'm gonna get
R&R. That's a lot better than E&J, Doc.
I'm gonna get me some. I'm gonna give not only E&J, but I'm gonna give me some R&R. How about that? But you know, yesterday or the other day, they was Elderly Abuse Day, and at St. Stephen's Missionary Baptist Church, where the pastor is the Reverend Earl Calloway, and of course they had a panel, a wide breadth of panelists, people talking about elderly abuse and scamming, and about people being scammed, seniors, and how they're targeting seniors with these scams and things. And Shannon, I don't know about you. They may not be scamming you as much as they're trying to scam the elders, but scamming has been around for a while. Reader's Digest, which was popular back in the day, and people would say that you won this prize, and you know, but you got to send $50 or $100 in order to claim your money. They've been scamming the elderly for a long time. I'm not saying that Reader's Digest was doing that, but they were utilizing people who had companies and business then, and pretending that they were that company or that business, and getting money from senior citizens, because senior citizens are pretty gullible in terms of that kind of thing. An easy target to go after. Most young people today, they're more
Definitely.
So that's what they were talking about. And they were talking about not only scamming, but they were talking about elderly abuse, and how elderly people are being abused by even their own family members, you know, in terms of how they are taking their monies from their, you know, parents or grandparents. And it's an awful thing. It's an awful thing. and we're going to work with you and CBC, South Florida Ministry Alliance, CBC, and others to bring these people together to talk about, what's really going on. Because as pastors, we're dealing with a lot of stuff we used to didn't have to deal with, Shannon. Mental abuse, suicidal things that people are dealing with, and people think about committing suicide, and they call in on the pastors, and as I said,
Yeah.
mental abuse, dementia. I mean, we can go on and on and on and on and on with things that we as pastors we're not trained to do, but
Right.
we should have some ability to be able to deal with those resources, and where those resources our members or parishioners can get help. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely have to be able to refer to those persons that have the licenses and the insurances to deal with that.
Well, we're going to be talking more about that, and we're going to get some books and information. And of course, if you need more information about it, and perhaps you're a pastor out there, or maybe you're a member of a church out there and you want to know more about it, tell you what to do. You can email us, or you can call. I'm going to give you a number that you can call. And if you call this number, you'll be in touch with what we call the faith.
It's really it's as you look for that number,
Yeah.
it ought to be a place in hell for people that harm babies and the elderly. I just think that it's a very sad state of affairs. I was driving on yesterday and saw a man, older man, took his shirt off, just hot. It was hot, as you said today. It was hot.
Right.
And just standing out there, man, and folks were just driving him by. I went to his aid, but that even that is a form of abuse. Maybe not a member of your family, but just seeing an elderly person in 99-degree weather walking down the highway or down the street, and not stopping to make sure they're okay, give them some water, maybe give them a ride if you feel safe enough to where they're going. But I think that elder abuse moves outside of the family. I think there's communal elder abuse that we have to look at in our neighborhoods and our communities, not honoring those gray heads that have gone before us.
Well, I appreciate that, but I'm glad that you said that. If you feel comfortable with giving a person a ride, because sometimes people are scamming that, that may like they need help, but really looking.
If I think I see a little 80, 90-year-old woman hunched over, and I'm driving. I don't think she's scamming in 99-degree weather, but I hear your point.
I know. Well, I hear what you're saying too. I do understand, but there are some people who act like they are grannies, and and you stop and everybody jump in your car. But I mean, just be vigilant in whatever you do. Honestly, really,
you got to be. You got to have the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Let me say that.
Yeah. Use that gift of discernment. The number you can call if you want to know more about this elderly abuse and more about scamming, we're going to provide you with this number to call Faith Strategies at 470-289-1173. That's 470-289-1173, and I'll have it on the screen so you can see it, so you can call Faith Strategists, and we'll put you in touch with the proper people that you need to be in touch with in order to get assistance. You may know someone who may be abused. You may know someone that is being scammed. And ladies, you have to be careful with that too, because these guys, you got all these love networks and stuff like that, and these hookup, and men are telling you, well, send me some money and all that kind of stuff, and you're sending money because they done sent you a picture and it really ain't them.
Catfishing.
Yeah, thank you so very much. That's the word, catfishing. So we got to be careful. There's all kind of scams. I got a email just the other day for Bitcoins, and they were saying that they were going to take money out of my PayPal account for Bitcoin, and if it wasn't me, to please notify them that it wasn't me. Well, of course, once you give people your information, then now they got you, because I know that I haven't done that. And people call from Amazon and say, well, we're from Amazon, and somebody just ordered a computer, and then they ask you for your information. So now they got you. Don't give your information to anybody. You know you didn't do it, don't do it. Call the people or the companies, the real companies that are those companies. Yes, Shanan, go. Yeah, you about to say.
And there's another a scam that happens where they'll come to your door and say, we're in the neighborhood working on something. Don't open your door for someone. If you haven't scheduled something, don't open your door. If they tell you they're there, first of all, they should have an ID on them, and you should be able to, from the other side of your door, call that company. And don't take the number they give you to call.
That's right.
But go to your computer, pull up the number, call 411, get the number to the company they say they're from, and reach out. But don't open your door for anybody that you have not that you haven't called for some repair, or if you haven't gotten a notice in the mail that there would be folks coming around on these dates to do whatever work that they're doing. So if various ways that people are in desperate times, and people are doing desperate criminal things, and you just have to use your, as we said earlier, your discernment and your vigilance, and make sure. I send Mateo to the door. I let him. He's the butler. He answers the door 9 times out of 10. When he gets to the door, people say, sorry, I've got the wrong address.
Well, we really serious about this, and we really want to make sure that you get this information and that you're able to pass it on. We want to make sure as many pastors get it, and also lay leaders get it, to share with their parents and their grandparents that are vulnerable and susceptible to this kind of activity. Because we know that we're getting plenty of people calling about buying your house, buying your property. I mean, you get that every day through mails or phone calls every day. So be careful even with that, because you just don't know what information they're trying to get, so they can get your information, your personal information, and drain your bank account. So
I tell them to take me off the list. They still keep calling.
Yeah, well, they're going to call because they scamming.
I had to call my mortgage company. I said, we okay? Yeah. I'm like, you got the payments right. What's going on? Why these people keep calling me?
Hey, they scammers. They're out there scamming and using every means of vulnerability or targets that they can do in terms of vulnerable community. We're talking about the young people, and I think you shared with me yesterday about the young people who are being taken advantage of and used as sex slaves. I think it was me and you talking about that and sharing with me yesterday, that what they're doing with the young people. And be careful with your young kids out there. Make sure that you got your kids, that they're with you, and mothers, you be careful, because they're hitting them, the mothers in the head and snatching the kids, the girls. So let's be very vigilant in what we're doing, because it's a new day and people are doing some of every and anything. Well, it probably started with the big lie. It probably started with the big lie. What do you mean the big lie? The big lie that was told by Donald Trump, that the election was a fraud and the election was stolen, and he declared himself as still being the president of the United States of America. Now the Insurrection Committee is bringing forth evidence that Mr. Trump and his confidants, his comrades, lied and knew that they were lying, and brought on this insurrection and turned this country upside down on the big lie. Well, Shanan, let's talk about the big lie now. We've been talking about one of the big liars, Marjorie Green, but let's talk about the big lie.
Well, Marjorie tell a lie, um, and the big lie. I was just putting a sign together. Can you see that sign? Can you see that?
Yeah, I see that sign. I see it. I see it. I see
It
it.
says, "If you lie, you will steal,
Oh Lord,
and if you steal, you will what?"
kill. Well, that's what we were taught, right?
Big.
That's what we were taught.
That's what we were taught. That's what we were
Absolutely.
taught. That's what we were taught. The Big Lie Committee is unraveling this thing, man, like crazy. I saw an editorial cartoon in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution this week, and it had the elephant's head stuck in the ground, and basically, and it had GOP on the back of the elephant. The elephant's head was in the ground, and the back of the elephant was exposed with GOP on it. And the person came and said, "Your trunk can still be seen." um, you know, Donald Trump will go down in history as perhaps the most dangerous president that this country has ever known. There are those that will celebrate him, Bishop, for, some things that he did for the other side that they wanted him to do in terms of some stuff with the judges and some economic things that he did, and they will celebrate that. But what he did from from November 2020 to January 2021 was the most dangerous and Benedict Arnold thing that I think an elected official of that, a president, let me just put it that way, that a president has done in the history of this country. Everybody from the maid, the lawyers, the butlers, his children, everybody told him. The Attorney General of the United States, everybody told him that he had to get off of this thing. And he continued this big lie all the way into attacking the half of the Capitol attack to try to stop the certification of those votes, threatening the life of his own vice president, threatening the lives of members of Congress, and then, Bishop, not attending. Do not forget that. He did not attend the inauguration to show a peaceful transfer of power. So that he wanted to become a kind of Jefferson Davis. He wanted his people to think he's still president, that's what's going on January the 20th over at the Capitol. That's mockery. That's a facade. I'm still president. What does that lead to? But civil war. And is there treason in that? That he is guiding people away from the legitimate president of the United States and a legitimate government to set up a kangaroo government of his own, not even his administration, but his own. Sounds like ideological civil war to me. And if he's not corrected and this lie isn't corrected, we might end up in a physical civil war.
Well, Shanan, I would say that all of those who came and testified via the videos that we saw, and some people may have not seen them, but they are archives. But they came back, and all of them sound advice. Boss said, because he just wouldn't listen to him telling him the truth, that the election, there was no problems in the election. Maybe it was through small hiccups, but there was none. And even, Meadows, and I'm going back to McCartney told him prior to the election, when he started all this stuff about the ballots, the the absentee ballots and bringing the ballots in. He didn't want to do that. McCartney told him is that that's how we as Republicans.
There will be a
want
runoff
forever,
for June the
is
21st.
do these
Early
absentee
voting
ballots
again
and
the
do it that way.
13th of
Well,
June, and
all of the
runoff
advice,
voting day
sound
again
advice
is
that he
June the
was given,
21st.
he
Don't
rejected.
forget, vote
And let
for
me
the
just
candidate
share
of your
this.
choice, but do vote.
Donald Trump was never elected to any political office. He was a businessman, a shrewd
That's it.
businessman, and
That's it.
used business practices as to how he was successful or supposedly successful in his business. And he thought that he could do the same thing in government that he did in his business. And people who had been elected and been elected for years tried to give him sound advice, good advice, and he rejected that advice. So because of his rejection of that advice, this country is in the state or condition that it's in today, because he was used to running his own company, doing things his own way, and that people would do what he asked them to do. Let's go to his lawyer, Carney, who went to jail for him doing what he wanted him to do, right? Because that's what he was doing for him in his business practices. But as the president of the United States, there are certain things that you cannot do. As an elected official, there are certain things that you cannot do. The will of the people is the will of the people, and you cannot usurp the will of the people. And that's what he was doing. That's what he tried to do anyway. And the insurrection was the boiling point when he stood up there and told those people, let's march. We're going to march up to the Capitol, and we're going to protest. Didn't even leave. Was not even
And I'll be there
part
with
of the
you.
march. Huh?
He said, and I'll be there with you.
I'll be there with you. Wasn't even there at all. If you lie, you steal. If you steal, you kill. Yeah. And a lot of people lost lives. A lot of people lost their limbs. A lot of people nursing injury now. The officer, the female officer, Lord have mercy, who they beat. I mean, I feel for these people who were trying to protect the people who were in those chambers trying to do what was right. And thank God.
You know,
And thank God, let me just say this, and thank God that God, as they say, God will pull the covering off of you. The covering is being pulled off of Mr. Trump and Mr. Giuliani and those who were a part of the plan on the Green Bay sweep as to how they were going to take over the government and keep Mr. Trump as the president of the United States.
well, they say on the night of the election, when he went before the country, they were telling him it was too soon to do it, and he was going to go out anyway. And they say there was one person that was coaxing him to go out, and that was Giuliani. And they said really Giuliani, as they reported, they say he was absolutely inebriated, literally, visibly, and he couldn't find anyone that would side with the president, President Trump couldn't find anyone who would agree with his positioning of what he should do. And so he found the first person that he could that would agree with him, and that was Rudy Giuliani, who was a butt kisser anyway and a drunk on that night. But you know, I think that you raise an interesting point when you say that Donald Trump was never elected to anything, and that he tried to run the country like he runs his business. So now we get a glimpse into the corruption of the Trump organization and how he runs his business, because even business people are offended by him. Even major big billionaire developers and financiers and stock Wall Street guys and ladies are insulted by him, and they don't see him or even on their level or as a part of their group. But to think about the fact that this man was never elected to anything, and he was never elected to anything because he may have given money to politicians, but he never understood or cared to learn the political process. He didn't care about the politics. He didn't care about it. So when everyone was trying to give him sound advice. He was not listening to that sound advice because he did not respect the political process that many of them, like the Attorney General, had given their lives to. But for him, this was just another notch in his belt. And his longtime young assistant, Hope Hicks, or maybe I guess she was like a daughter to him, maybe not a long time, but she was with him throughout his first campaign, and they were very close. Hope Hicks came to him and said, you got to stop this. What was going on the 6th? You got to stop this. She said to her, don't you see what's happening? You got to stop this. You got to think about your legacy. And she reported that Donald Trump looked up at her and says, if I lose the election, I've already lost. There is no legacy. If I lose the election, there is no legacy, because everything in Trump world has to win. Might makes right. Even if I have to steal or do whatever I have to do it, lie, whatever I have to do it, the Trump world, I always have to win. That's my legacy. Who wins all the time, Bishop?
No one.
But a liar.
Nobody. Well,
But a thief.
A liar doesn't win. He or she only wins for that moment. But as we said earlier, the covering will come off. But I want to just pivot a little bit, because we're in Georgia now, and we're in Fulton County, and now the DA and the grand jury, special grand jury, is now listening to people in terms of the call for Mr. Trump to get Mr. Ratzenberger to overturn the votes of people in particularly Fulton County. In particularly Fulton County. So let's just stick a pin in that, and let's come back and talk more about the insurrection as it continues to unfold. And we're going to ask you to give us your comments in terms of what you think about it, and where is this country going, and how is this country going to continue to survive after this big lie. Well, listen, we appreciate you for being a part of Straight Talk. We want you to comment. Please put any comments in the comment section, or you can email us with your comments at Straight Talk News, at 1362@gmail.com. I always mess that up. At Straight Talk News at 1362@gmail.com. Send it to Miss C. She'll get it at us, and we'll be able to talk about your comments or whatever. And if you want to get on the program and voice your opinion, we love to have you. We love to hear your side of the story. All you got to do is, hey, listen, that same email us, or you can call the same number I'll have on the stream that you're calling us for information about the senior citizens abuse and scamming. You can call that same number to be up there, at 470 number. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like us. Don't forget to give comments, and don't forget to share. That's what it is, Miss C. It's subscribe, it's like, it's comments, and share. Won't you do that for us? We thank you so much. And as always, this ain't been nothing but what? Straight talk. Hey, listen, Shannon, I'm gonna call the phrase that Mama and them used to say when we were younger, as you rolled up. Hold it up there. Hold it up high, Shannon. What they say? If you lie, you'll steal. If you steal, you'll kill. We need to go back to the truth. Those are the truth, and stop dealing with the lies. Until next week, you've been in tune to nothing but Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann and Shanan E. Jones.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fann at FANN922@Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shanan Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacher Man.